And our top story tonight here at 5, the war in the Middle East. In the past hour, President Trump shelved his threat to strike Iran's bridges, buildings, and infrastructure. The stipulation here that Iran reopened the Strait of Hormuz. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
I'm Jonathan Gonzalez in for Michael. President Trump offered a 2-week ceasefire. It does appear that Iran has agreed to those terms. So what changed at the last minute? Our Conan Nolan shows us.
The announcement by the president came in a post on his Truth social media site that the all-out attack on Iran's civilian infrastructure, power stations, desalinization plants, and bridges that was to have started at 5 o'clock Pacific time was going to be delayed by at least 2 weeks. That he had agreed to a ceasefire after consulting with Pakistan, the leadership there having served as a go-between. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps within the hour confirming the agreement for the 2-week ceasefire. Courtney Cuby covers the Pentagon for NBC News.
The order has gone out to the U.S. military to cease all offensive operations in Iran. That is effective immediately. So that is a huge development here.
But there's confusion over the president's post in that the agreement is subject to Iran agreeing to the immediate opening of the Strait of Hormuz, that critical bottleneck where 1/5 of the world's oil and natural gas travels. The Iranians state that any shipment through the strait will be controlled by the Iranian military. NBC News Mideast consultant Homan Majd says the Iranians currently don't consider the strait to be closed.
What Iran is doing is charging a tariff for friendly countries, between $1 and $2 million a ship to traverse safely. Now, when Iran says, yes, we'll open the strait, what does that mean? Does that mean they're still going to charge $1 or $2 million per ship? And does that now include American flag ships?
That we still don't know. Just moments ago, President Trump posted a message from Iran's foreign minister. In the message, Iran agreed to cease defensive operations and open the Strait of Hormuz for 2 weeks. In exchange, the U.S. will stop their attacks against Iran. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4 News. Back to you.
Conan, did I hear that it seems that the U.S. military will be standing down for the next couple of weeks while negotiations are going on? And how does Israel feel about this?
Well, apparently Israel is on board from what we understand. The White House has been in communication with them. But again, God is in the details. And the details here seem to indicate that the president says this 2 weeks is based on this critical bottleneck, the Strait of Hormuz. We've been talking about it for a month, being open. What does open mean? Because the Iranians, in their statement and on Iranian television right now, they're saying this is a huge win for them, that the United States government has agreed to stop the war and that Iran will maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz. So they say that strait is open. And they're not going to step down from having the Iranian military be part of agreeing to what traffic makes it through there and charging that toll that we just heard about. So, yes, there's a ceasefire. As Courtney Cuby pointed out, just within the hour, there's been an order for the U.S. to stop any kind of offensive military actions in that country. But there's two sides to this, and they're going to have to figure out exactly what the wording is and what it means on the ground and with that particular body of water.
Yeah, both sides claiming victory in this particular case. Conan Nolan, thank you. Many in LA's Iranian community, meanwhile, they are breathing quite the sigh of relief after President Trump announced that pause on U.S. strikes.
The news came just over an hour before the deadline. NBC4's Keenan Willard joins us from Westward, where there's been so much concern today. Keenan.
Colleen, so much concern you could feel over the last few hours as we inched closer and closer to that deadline imposed by President Trump. The heart of LA's Iranian community, the Persian community, it felt as if they were holding their breath, awaiting that deadline and feeling so much fear and concern for their loved ones still overseas in Iran in the face of that deadline. Then we got to that point where the course was reversed. The president announced the ceasefire, and you could feel a real temporary breath of relief, but there's also a lot of concern remaining about what comes next. In the heart of LA's Iranian community, many taking a breath after expecting their home country to come under attack at this very moment.
It's surreal. It's even hard to believe.
He said he's going to bombing the civilization.
This morning, President Trump said a whole civilization will die tonight in Iran unless the country's regime met his demands by 5 p.m. Pacific time. Little Persia in Westwood is home to dozens of Iranian businesses. Some people living and working here left fearing for their loved ones still in Iran.
I am worried for people. Everybody in Iran are my brother and my sister. There is no different.
Several demonstrators held signs in protest of the president's threats on UCLA's campus today.
Trump's crazed, warmongering attempt to destroy Iran and the Iranian people must not succeed.
About an hour and a half before the deadline, those threats put on pause when President Trump announced a 2-week ceasefire. Some in LA's Persian community say they thought the president was bluffing, not believing the U.S. would attack civilians in Iran.
Bombing the bridges and then power plant and water resources, but maybe he would do that, but he wouldn't do on people.
Others told us they're urging family in Iran to take the threats seriously. Everyone in this community saying they want the regime to work with the U.S. to find a peaceful way out of this standoff.
We all want a resolution. We want the people in Iran to feel safe. We want us Americans here to feel safe. And it's a lot of question marks, to be honest with you.
We'll continue tracking how this Iranian community here in Westwood feels as these 2 weeks continue and we move further and further into the ceasefire period. But a lot of questions still remaining here. In Westwood, Keenan, Willard, NBC4 News.
Keenan, thank you for that. We are going to continue to monitor the very latest out of the Middle East. We're sending out alerts on our NBCLA app, on our website, NBCLA.com. We also have the latest on our homepage under our Iran section.